everybody! So we are continuing on in this video with Chapter 8 of Children of Blood and Bone, and we'll continue on again until my phone will last for this on what we're going through. So we ended Chapter 7 with Zelly again as our primary narrator, and we finally discovered, or Zelly discovered, that Amari is the princess. She's realized there's this magic scroll that potentially gives magic back, and it gave her a little shock, but she doesn't totally have magic back yet, so she's unsure yet of what's going on with it. But we've also created a new conflict here that now we've got to save not only Zelly has to save herself, to Zane, we have to go back and save Baba and figure out everything that's going on because obviously the government, the king, is going to be after her and she knows it. And she has begrudgingly taken Amari along with her because she doesn't really like her at all and doesn't want her there. But Zane is convinced we have to. So now Chapter 8 is from the perspective of Enan again, and we're seeing on his way because he's discovered now that he has to go after his sister Amari. So now he's trying to figure out how he's going to continue to try and live up to his father's standards and get Amari back and what we're going on. So Chapter 8. I don't understand. 1,000 thoughts race through my mind. I try to latch onto facts. Magic in Orisha, an ancient scroll, treason by Amari's hand. It's not possible. Even if I could believe the magic, I can't accept my sister's involvement. Amari can barely speak up at a banquet. She lets Mother dictate her clothes. Amari's never spent a day outside these walls, and now she's fled Lagos with the only thing that can bring our empire down? I think back, recalling the moment the fugitive girl crashed into me. When we collided, something sharp and hot crackled through my bones. A strange and powerful attack. In my shock, I didn't peer under the fugitive's hood, but if I had, would I really have seen my sister's amber eyes peering back? No. I whisper to myself. It's outlandish. I have half a mind to commit father to the royal physician, but it's impossible to deny the look in his eyes. Crazed. Calculating. In 18 years, I've seen many things in his gaze, but never fear, never terror. Before you were born, the Magi were drunk with power, always plotting to overthrow our line, Father explains. Even with their insurgency, my father fought to be fair, but that fairness got him killed. Along with your older brother, I think silently, your first wife, your firstborn son. There isn't a noble in Orisha who doesn't know of the slaughter father endured at the Magi's hands. A carnage that would one day be avenged by the raid. Out of instinct, I fingered the tarnished pawn in my pocket, a stolen gift from father. The Senate piece is the only survivor of father's childhood set, a game of strategy he used to play with me when I was young. Though the cool metal usually anchors me, today it's warm to the touch. It almost stings as it passes through my fingers, burning with father's impending truth. When I rose to the throne, I knew magic was the root of all our pain. It's crushed empires before ours, and as long as it lives, it shall crush empires again. I nod, remembering father's rants from long before the raid. The Brutananis, the Portulaganis, the Spanai Empire, all civilizations destroyed because those who had magic craved power, and those in charge didn't do enough to stop them. When I discovered the raw alloy Bretonians used to subdue magic, I thought that would be enough. With magicite, they created prisons and weapons and chains. Following their tactics, I did the same. But even that wasn't enough to tame those treacherous maggots. If our kingdom was ever going to survive, I knew I had to take magic away. What? I jerked forward, unable to trust my own ears. Magic is beyond us. How could father attack an enemy like that? Magic is a gift from the gods, he continues. A spiritual connection between them and mankind. If the gods broke that connection with royals generations ago, I knew their connection to the Magi could be severed too. My head spins with father's words. If he doesn't need to see the physician, I will. The only time I dared to ask him about the Orishan gods, his answer was swift. Gods are nothing without fools to believe in them. I took his words to heart, built my world upon his unwavering conviction. Yet here he stands telling me they exist, That he waged war against them? Skies. I stare at the blood staining the cracks in the floor. I've always known Father was a powerful man. I just never realized how deep that power ran. After my coronation, I set out to find a way to sever the spiritual bond. It took me years. But eventually I discovered the source of the Magi's spiritual connection, and I ordered my men to destroy it. Until today, I believed I had succeeded in wiping magic from the face of this earth. But now that damned scroll is threatening to bring magic back. I let Father's words wash over me, parsing through it until even the most inconceivable facts move like Senate pawns in my head. Break the connection, break the magic. Destroy the people after our throne. But if magic was gone, my stomach twists into knots, but I need to know the answer. Why go through with the raid? Why kill all those people? Father runs his thumb down the serrated edge of his magicite blade and walks to the paneled windows. The same place I stood as a child when the Magi of Lagos went up in flames. 11 years later, the charcoal smell of burning flesh is still a constant memory, as vivid as the heat in the air. For magic to disappear for good, every Magi had to die. As long as they tasted that power, they would never stop fighting to bring it back. Every Magi? That's why he let the children live. Diviners don't manifest their abilities until they're 13. Powerless children who had never wielded magic didn't pose a threat. Father's answer is calm. So, matter of fact, I cannot doubt that he did the right thing, but the memory of ash settles on my tongue, bitter sharp. I have to wonder if Father's stomach churned that day. I wonder if I'm strong enough to do the same. Magic is a blight, Father breaks into my thoughts. A fatal, festering disease. If it takes hold of our kingdom the way it's taken others, no one will survive its attack. How do we stop it? The scroll is the key, Father continues. That much I know. Something about it has the power to bring magic back. If we don't destroy it, it shall destroy us. And Amari? My voice lowers. Will we have to... The thought is so wretched I can't speak. Duty before self. That's what Father will say. It's what he shouted at me that fateful day. But the thought of raising my blade against Amari after all these years makes my throat dry. I can't be the king Father wants me to be. I can't kill my little sister. Your sister has committed treason, he speaks slowly. But it is no fault of her own. I allowed her to get close to that maggot. I should have known her simple disposition would lead her astray. So Amari can live? Father nods. If she's captured before anyone discovers what she's done, that's why you can't take your men. You and Admiral Kia must go and recover the scroll alone. Relief slams into my chest like a blow from Father's fist. I can't kill my little sister, but I can bring her back in. A sharp knock raps against the door. Admiral Kia pops her head through. Father waves his hand, welcoming her in. Behind her, I catch a glimpse of Mother scowling. A new heaviness settles on my shoulders. Skies. Mother doesn't even know where Amari is. We found a noble. He claims he saw the maggot who aided the fugitive, Kia says. She sold him a rare fish from Aloran. Did you cross-reference the ledger? I ask. Kia nods. It only shows one diviner from Aloran today. Zeli Adabola, age 17. Zeli. My mind fits the missing piece to her striking image. The name rolls off Kia's tongue like silver. Too soft for a diviner who attacked my city. Let me go to Aloran, I blurt out. My mind runs through the plan as I speak. I've seen a map of Aloran before. The 4 quadrants of the floating village, a few hundred villagers, most lowly fishermen. We could take it with 10 men. That's all Admiral Kia and I need. I'll find the scroll and bring Amari back. Just give me a chance. Father twists his ring as he thinks. I can hear the rejection sitting on his tongue. If those men discover anything, I'll kill them, I interrupt. The lie slips from my mouth with ease. If I can redeem my former failures, no one else needs to die. But Father cannot know that. He barely trusts me as it is. He requires swift, unflinching commitment. As captain, I must give it to him. Very well, Father agrees. Head out. Be quick. Thank the skies. I adjust my helmet and bow as deeply as I can. I'm almost out the door when Father calls out, Enon! Something twists in his tone. Something dark. Dangerous. When you have what you need, burn that village to the ground. Okay, so again, in your notes, I want you to take and write down 3 to 4 main ideas from this chapter. What happened? What are the main character points, the conflicts? And write a 3-sentence summary of this chapter. Also, for your character descriptions, continue to add on to what we know about Enon. Who is he as a person? What does he value? What are his motivations? And what do we expect from him as we continue within our plot? How do we think he's going to react when he finally reaches up with Zelly and Amari here? So once you've done that, chapter 9. So now chapter 9 is from Zelly's perspective again. Elorin is entirely too peaceful. At least it feels that way after today. Coconut boats pull against their anchors. Sheets fall over the dome of Ahiri entrances. The village sets with the sun, making way for a calm night's sleep. Amari's eyes widen with wonder as we sail through the water and head toward Mama Agba's on Nayla's back. She takes in every inch of the floating village like a starving laborer placed before a majestic feast. I've never seen anything like this, she whispers. It's mesmerizing. I breathe in the fresh scent of the sea, closing my eyes as mist sprays my face. The taste of salt on my tongue makes me imagine what would happen if Amari wasn't here. A fresh loaf of sweetbread, a nice cut of spiced meat. For once, we'd go to sleep with full bellies. A celebratory meal in my name. My frustration reignites at Amari's ignorant bliss. Princess that she is, she's probably never missed a meal in her entire pampered life. Give me your headdress, I snap when Nayla docks in the merchant quarter. The wonder drops from Amari's face and she stiffens. Binta! She pauses, collecting herself. I wouldn't have this if it weren't for my handmaiden. It's the only thing of hers I have left. I don't care if the gods gave you that wretched thing. We can't have people finding out who you are. Don't worry, Tizane adds gently. She'll throw it in her pack, not the sea. I glare at his attempt to comfort her, but his words do the trick. Amari fiddles with the clasp and drops the glittering jewels into my pack. The shimmer they add to the shine of silver coins is absurd. This morning I didn't have a bronze piece to my name. Now I'm weighed down by the riches of royals. I crouch on Nayla's back and pull myself onto the wooden walkway. I poke my head through Mama Agba's curtained door to find Baba sleeping soundly in the corner, curled up like a wildcat in front of a heated flame. His skin has its color back. His face isn't so skeletal and gaunt. Must be Mama Agba's care. She could nurse a corpse back to life. When I enter, Mama Agba peeks her head out from behind a mannequin, stitched into a brilliant purple caftan. The fitted seams suggest that it's noble-bound, a sail that might cover her next tax. How'd it go? She whispers, cutting the thread with her teeth. She adjusts the green and yellow gele wrapped around her head before tying up the caftan's loose ends. I open my mouth to respond, but Tizane steps in, tentatively followed by Amari. She looks around the Ahiri with an innocence only luxury can breed, running her fingers over the woven reeds. Tizane gives Mama Agba a grateful nod as he takes my pack, pausing to hand Amari the scroll. He lifts Baba's sleeping body with ease. Baba doesn't even stir. I'm going to get our things, he says. Decide what we're doing about this scroll. If we go... His voice trails off and my stomach tightens with guilt. There's no if anymore. I've taken that choice away. Just be fast. Tizane leaves, biting his emotions back. I watch as his hulking frame disappears, wishing I wasn't the source of his pain. Leave? Mama Agba asks. Why would you leave, and who is this? Her eyes narrow as she looks Amari up and down. Even in the dingy cloak, Amari's perfect posture and lifted chin denote her regal nature. Oh, Amari turns to me, her grip tightening on the scroll. I am... Her name's Amari, I sigh. She's the princess of Orisha. Mama Agba releases a deep laugh. It's an honor, your highness. She teases with an exaggerated bow. But when neither Amari nor I smile, Mama's eyes go wide. She rises from her seat and opens Amari's cloak, revealing the dark blue gown beneath. Even in the dim light, the deep neckline shimmers with glittering jewels. Oh my gods! She turns to me, hands clutching her chest. Zeli, what in the God's name have you done? I force Mama Agba to sit, as I explain the events of the day. While she wavers between pride and anger over the details of our escape, it's the possibilities of the scroll that make her go still. Is it real? I ask. Is there any truth to this? Mama's silent for a long moment, staring at the scroll in Amari's hands. For once her dark eyes are unreadable, obscuring the answers I seek. Give it here. The moment the parchment touches Mama Agba's palms, she wheezes for air. Her body trembles and quakes so violently she falls off her chair. Mama Agba! I run to her side and grab her hands, holding her down until the tremors stop. With time they fade and she's left on the ground, as still as one of her mannequins. Mama, are you okay? Tears come to her eyes, spilling into the wrinkles of her dark skin. It's been so long, she whispers. I never thought I would feel the warmth of magic again. My lips part in surprise, and I back up, unable to believe my ears. It can't be. I didn't think any magi survived the raid. You're a magi? Amari asks. But your hair... Mama Agba removes her gele and runs her hand over her shaved head. 11 years ago, I had a vision of myself visiting a cancer. I asked her to get rid of my white hair, and she used the magic of disease to take it all away. You're a seer? I gasp. I used to be. Mama Agba nods. I lost my hair the day of the raid, hours before they would have taken me away. Amazing. When I was a child, the few seers who lived in Ibadan were revered. The magic they wielded over time helped every other Magi clan in Ibadan survive. I smile. Though in my heart I should have known. Mama Agba's always had a sage sense about her, the wisdom of a person who's seen beyond her years. Before the raid, Mama Agba continues, I felt the magic sucked out of the air. I tried to conjure a vision of what would come, but when I needed it most, I couldn't see. She winces as if reliving the pain of that day all over again. I can only imagine what horrible images play inside her mind. Mama shuffles over to her netted windows and pulls the sheets closed. She stares at her weathered hands, wrinkled from years as a seamstress. Word I don't know how to pronounce. She whispers, invoking the god of time. Ba mi, and again, I don't know how to pronounce it, but we'll roll with it. Ba mi soro, ba mi soro. What is she doing? Amari steps back as if Mama Agba's words would cut her. But hearing true, Yoruba for the first time in over a decade makes it too overwhelming for me to answer. Since the raid, all I've heard are the harsh stops and guttural sounds of Orishan, the tongue we're forced to speak. It's been so long since I heard an incantation, too long since the language of my people didn't only exist in my memories. Oren Mila, I translate as Mama Agba chants, speak to me. Speak to me. She's calling on her god, I explained to Amari. She's trying to do magic. Though the answer comes with ease, even I can't believe what I'm seeing. Mama Agba chants with blind faith, patient and trusting, just as those who follow the god of time are meant to be. As she calls on Oren Mila for guidance, a pang of longing stirs in my heart. No matter how much I've wanted to, I've never had enough faith to call on Oya like that. Is it safe? Amari presses against the Ahiri wall when veins bulge against Mama Agba's throat. It's part of the process, I nod. The cost of using our eshe. To cast magic, we must use the language of the gods to harness and mold the eshe in our blood. For a practiced seer, this incantation would be easy. But with so many years out of practice, this incantation is probably drawing on all of eshe Mama Agba has. Eshe builds like another muscle in our bodies. The more we use, the easier it is to harness and the stronger our magic becomes. Again, words I don't know how to pronounce. Her breath turns more ragged with every word. The wrinkles across her face stretch tight with strain. Harnessing eshe takes a physical toll. If she tries to harness too much, she could kill herself. Mama Agba's voice grows stronger. A silver light begins to swell in her hands. The cosmos explodes between Mama's hands with so much force that Amari and I are knocked to the ground. Amari screams, but my shout vanishes under the lump in my throat. The blues and purples of the night sky twinkle between Mama Agba's palms. My heart seizes at the beautiful sight. It's back. After all this time, magic is finally here. It's like a floodgate opening in my heart. An endless wave of emotions running through my entire body. The gods are back. Alive? With us after all this time? The twinkling stars between Mama Agba's palms swirl and dance with one another. An image slowly crystallizes, sharpening like a sculpture before our eyes. With time, I can make out 3 silhouettes on a mountainous hill. They climb with relentless fury, making their way through thick underbrush. Skies, Amari curses. She takes a tentative step forward. Is that me? I snort at her vanity, but the sight of my cropped dashiki makes me stop. She's right. It's us and Tizane, climbing through the jungle greenery. My hands reach for a rock while Tizane guides Nayla by the reins to a ledge. We ascend higher and higher up the mountain, climbing till we reach the vision vanishes, snapping to empty air in the blink of an eye. We're left staring at Mama Agba's empty hands, hands that have just changed my entire world. Mama's fingers shake from the strain of her vision. More tears spill from her eyes. I feel, she chokes through her silent sobs, I feel like I can breathe again. I nod, though I don't know how to describe the tightness in my own heart. After the raid, I truly thought I'd never see magic again. When Mama Agba's hands are steady, she grasps the scroll, desperation leaking through her touch. She scans the parchment from the movement of her eyes. I can tell she's actually reading the symbols. It's a ritual, she says. That much I can see. Something with an ancient origin, a way to connect with the gods. Can you do it? Amari asks, amber eyes shining with a mixture of awe and fear. She stares at Mama Agba as if she were made of diamonds, yet flinches when she draws near. It is not I who is meant to do this, child. Mama places the scroll in my hands. You saw the same vision as I. You can't be serious, Amari stammers. For once I agree with her. What's there to argue? Mama asks. You 3 were on the journey. You were traveling to bring magic back. Is it not already here? Amari asks. What you just did, a fraction of what I could do before. This scroll sparks the magic, but to bring it back to its full power, you must do more. There has to be someone better. I shake my head. Someone with more experience. You can't be the only magi to escape the raid. We can use your power to find someone for the scroll. Girls. We can't. I cut in. I can't. Baba, I'll take care of your father. But the guards. Don't forget who taught you how to fight. We don't even know what it says, Amari interrupts. We cannot even read it. Mama Agba's eyes grow distant, like an idea has taken hold in her head. She scurries over to a collection of her belongings, returning with a faded map. Here. She gestures to a spot in the Funmaleo jungle, a few days east of Aloran's coast. In my vision, you were traveling here. It must be where Chendoble is. Chendoble? Mari asks. A legendary temple, Mama Agba answers, rumored to be the home of the sacred Centeros. the protectors of magic and spiritual order. Before the raid, only the newly elected leaders of the 10 Magi clans made the pilgrimage. But if my vision showed you traveling there, it must be your time. You must go. Chernobyl may hold the answers you seek. The more Mama Agba speaks, the more I lose feeling in my hands and feet. Why don't you understand? I want to scream. I'm not strong enough. I look at Amari for a moment. I almost forget she's a princess. In the glow of Mama Agba's candles, she looks small, unsure of what to do next. Mama Agba places a wrinkled hand on my face and grabs Amari's wrist with the other. I know you're scared, girls, but I also know that you can do this. Of all the days to trade in Lagos, you went today. Of all the people you could have approached in that market, you chose her. The gods are at work. They are blessing us with our gifts after all this time. You have to trust that they wouldn't gamble with the fate of the Magi. Trust in yourselves. I release a deep breath and stare at the woven floor. The gods that once seemed so far away are closer now than I ever imagined they could be. I just wanted to graduate today. I only needed to sell a fish. Mama, help! A scream breaks through the calm of the night. In an instant, all on our feet. I grab my rod as Mama runs to her window. When she rips open the curtains, my legs go weak. Fire rages in the merchant quarter, every Ahiri engulfed in the roaring blaze. Plumes of black smoke tower into the sky with villagers' yells, cries for help as our world goes up in flames. A line of burning arrows cuts through the darkness. Each explodes as it makes contact with the reeds and wooden beams of the Ahiri. Blast powder. A powerful mix only the king's guard could obtain. You, the voice in my head whispers in disgust, you brought them here. And now the guards won't just kill everyone I love. They'll burn the whole village to the ground. I'm out the door before another second passes, undeterred when Mama Agba shouts my name. I have to find my family. I have to make sure they're okay. With each step on the crumbling walkway, my home blazes into a living hell. The stench of burning flesh stings my throat. The fires only raged a few minutes, yet all of Aloran fries in the flames. Help! I recognize the cries now. Little Bisi. Her screams cut through the darkness, desperate in their shrieks. My chest heaves as I sprint past Bisi's Ahiri. Will she even make it out of the blaze alive? As I race home, villagers desperate to escape the flames jump into the ocean, their screams piercing the night sky. Coughing, they cling onto charred driftwood, fighting to stay afloat. A strange sensation rushes through me, surging through my veins, trapping the breath in my chest. With it, warmth buzzes under my skin. A death? A spirit? Magic. I put the pieces together. My magic. A magic I still don't understand. A magic that's brought us to this hell. But even as embers burn my skin, I picture Tiders summoning streams of water to fight the flames. Burners keeping the blaze at bay. If more magi were here, their gifts could stop this horror. If we were trained and armed with incantations, the fire wouldn't stand a chance. A loud crack rings through the air. The wooden panels beneath my feet moan as I near the fisherman's sector. I run for as long as the walkway holds before launching myself into the air. Smoke sears my throat as I land on the teetering deck that supports my home. I can't see through the blaze, but I still force myself to act. Baba! I scream through my coughs, adding more cries to the chaos of the night. Tzane! There's not an Ahiri in our sector that isn't engulfed in flames, yet still I run forward, hoping mine won't share the same fate. The walkway wobbles beneath my feet and my lungs scream for air. I tumble to the ground before my home, burned from the heat radiating off the flames. Baba! I shriek in horror, searching for life, any life in the blaze. Tzane! Nayla! I scream till my throat rips raw, but no one answers my call. I can't tell if they're trapped inside. I can't see if they're even alive. I crawl to my feet and extend my rod, thrusting open Arahiri door. I'm about to run in when a hand clamps my shoulder, pulling me back with so much force I topple over. Tears blur my vision. It's difficult to make out the face of my assailant, but soon flickering flames illuminate copper skin. Amari. You can't go in there, she screams between her coughs. It's coming down. I shove Amari to the ground with half a mind to drown her in the sea. When she releases her grip, I crawl toward my Ahiri. No! The reed walls we spent a full moon building collapse with a sharp crack. They burn through the walkway and into the sea, sinking to the bottom. I wait for Tizane's head to bob up from the waves, for Nayla to let out a roar of pain, but I only see blackness. In one sweep, my family's been wiped away. Zelly. Mari grips my shoulder again. My blood boils under her touch. I grab her arm and yank her forward, grief and rage fueling my strength. I'll kill you, I decide. If we die, you die too. Let your father feel this pain. Let the king know unbearable loss. Don't! Amari screams as I drag her to the flames. But I can barely hear her over the blood pounding in my ears. When I look at her, I see her father's face. Everything inside me twists with hate. Please! Zelly, stop! I release Amari and whip toward the open sea. Nayla paddles in the ocean water with Tizane on her back. Trailing behind him, Baba and Mama Agba sit safely inside a coconut boat attached to Nayla's saddle. I'm so overwhelmed by the sight it takes a moment to grasp that they're actually alive. Tizane. The entire foundation of the fisherman's sector slants. Before we can jump, it goes down, taking us with it. Ice-cold water engulfs our bodies in a rush, soothing the burns I've forgotten. I allow myself to sink among the lumber and shattered homes. The darkness cleanses my pain, cooling the rage. You can stay down here, a small thought whispers. You don't have to continue this fight. I hold on to the words for a moment, grasping my only chance for escape. But when my lungs wheeze, I force my legs to kick, bringing me back to the broken world I know. No matter how much I crave peace, the gods have other plans. Okay, so we're going to pause there. So we just finished chapter 9. So again, taken right down like 3 to 4 main ideas. What happened in this chapter? We've had a lot more closer look into who Zelly is, her motivations, her emotions, and how quickly she lets her emotions take over her within here too as well. So write your summary of this chapter and then come back for the next video to continue to chapter 10.